Thank you for tuning in to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we talk the latest news, rumors, and games of the National Football League, from the latest signings to this year's breakout rookie and all the news in between. As always, I am Alex, joined by
the one and only Jeremiah.
The one and only Jeremiah.
The man, the myth, the legend. I mean, the man, the myth, the legend. I don't know why.
I think said the man, the midget.
I
was like,
that's
like, weird, man.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll edit it out.
We'll edit it
out. No, don't worry. No one will hear it. Okay.
So for what we've been waiting for all day, this is our Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast mock draft.
The best mock draft you will ever hear.
Yeah, it's pretty great. You guys should show all your friends and tell everybody about it, and actually tell the teams about it, because it's going to be better than their drafts.
Even after the draft is done, I think you should. I think ours
should be the one that stands.
I think ours should be the one that stands, because I think it's going to be the most correct.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the one that's most correct. Team needs, all that good stuff.
Okay, but just so you know, we didn't incorporate any trades, so we're not going to
just the trades that were already official, the Rams and the Eagles.
In the Niners and Broncos, Colin Kaepernick, which we talked about in a previous episode, which is
they just traded all their picks for Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that. But on that note, we're just going to get right into it. We're going to go back and forth. So Jeremiah's going to do the odd picks. I'm going to do the even picks. So obviously 1, 3, 5, so on, 2, 4, 6, so on, and 4. And remember, there's only 31 picks in this draft because, as we talked about in our very first episode, Tom Brady is suspended for Deflategate. They also lost a draft pick. So 31 picks, one round,
1 day, 1 night,
one draft to rule them all. Let's get into it, man.
All right. I'm excited. Okay. Drum roll for the first pick. And the LA Rams take quarterback Jared Goff from Cal, which doesn't leave a surprise. They need to make a splash in LA, and they're going to try to do it with Goff as the face of the franchise.
I agree with that pick 100%. We went through all these picks and kind of talked to each other. We pretty much agreed on every pick.
This was the one that we really agreed on. There was no argument. We were just like, okay, we'll just move on.
We both think that Goff has the ability to step in right away, play for the Rams, play for that offense and those coaches, and he's a California kid. He's going to drive a couple hours to LA, show up, just be ready to go. Yeah,
and I think he. Whoever, if the Rams don't decide for some reason they go with Wentz, whoever is the quarterback for the Rams is walking a good situation with a solid defense who
very opportunistic,
and they have Todd Gurley, who is arguably a top 5 running back last season.
Last season he definitely was. Yeah. We'll see how he keeps grinding.
So
with the second pick overall in the 2016 NFL Draft mock draft podcast style, the Philadelphia Eagles select quarterback Carson Wentz out of North Dakota State.
Yeah,
somebody we both agreed on.
Yeah,
we
both
too.
agree on. Yeah.
Overall, I feel like he has the higher ceiling. He has the bigger upside. He's more of an athletic guy. He has a cannon for an arm.
He has a big body.
Yeah, he's a big dude. I just think he would definitely fit in that Eagles system pretty well. And it's nothing against Goff in terms of that, and it's nothing against Wentz in terms of not going first. It's just who we think would fit in the system better.
And for number 3, the San Diego Chargers select Laramie Tunsil, offensive tackle from Ole Miss, who has been regarded as the best player in the draft by a lot of
scouts out there.
Scouts, yeah,
considered to be the best overall prospect in the draft. And the Chargers had a horrific running game last year. We decided that it would be better for them to go offensive line, shore up something that they just were awful at last year, and get arguably the best prospect in the draft.
Yeah, and then I really like the fit with him and Caden Dunlap on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
both gigantic dudes can just hold the line of scrimmage and make it their own.
Hopefully Dunlap plays a full year. For number 4,
the Dallas Cowboys, with the number 4 overall pick, select Jalen Ramsey, defensive back, because he can play some safety, out of Florida State. Who also, I would say, if Laramie Tunsil is the number 1 overall prospect, he's the number 1 overall prospect on defense, and if not the number 1 overall, definitely the number 2.
Yeah, he is my best player in the draft this year. He's an absolute game changer, playmaker. He's a bona fide stud. They need help on defense.
Yes, they do. The Cowboys, they needed some help, and a lot of people are saying, Ezekiel Elliott here.
I was like, what?
Lions.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott here, he could be a game changer, especially when they have, the Dallas Cowboys have a good team when they have a good running back, as we saw with DeMarco Murray. I just think you can't pass up,
you can't
one
pass
of the best quarterback prospects in a few years.
And there's also a lot of good running backs that they can possibly pick in the second round.
Running backs you can find all.
Yeah.
They always say a dime a dozen.
Yeah. So moving on, number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars select defensive end Joey Bosa from Ohio State, and I actually like this. I like this pick for the Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jaguars have quite an underrated offense. It's a quiet offense, underrated definitely. I think once they start building up that defense, they can be a nice-looking team.
Yeah, he has a lot of upside. He has the ability to play in multiple defenses, 3-4, 4-3. So,
good scheme player.
Yeah,
I think that he has a lot of upside to him. So I think that's a good pick for the Jaguars to start getting some presence on their defense.
Yeah.
Number 6, for my taste, hated Baltimore Ravens take DeForest Buckner out of Oregon. Just a monster.
I like this pick.
This guy's huge.
To me, this is a Ozzie Newsome pick. It has Ozzie Newsome ran all over it.
Yeah, believe me,
Yeah.
it sure does. A lot of people are saying they should go offensive line here. I just think, that dude has upside like nobody's business.
Yeah, dude, and he can possibly fill in for Terrell Suggs.
Yeah, Terrell Suggs is believe me, as much of a terror as he still is. He had a rough injury last year. He tore his Achilles, I'm pretty sure, just like Steve Smith did. And it's not the first time he's done that. He's ruptured it before. He's getting near the end of his career, so it's starting to be that time.
And he's another year older.
Yeah, it's starting to be that time, and coming from another injury too. Starting to be that time to take a guy that's a lot like him under the wing to really start trying to keep your defense fresh and young.
Yeah, and then moving on to the San Francisco 49ers at number 7, I got them taking Miles Jack, who I think he's the second best player in the draft. And even though he has like some knee problems, Trent Baalke likes taking defensive players in the first round.
He sure will.
And he also likes
sure
linebackers. Like if you're like a solid linebacker and you're on their lap.
Aldon Smith.
Like Aldon Smith was good, even though
they took him. They needed a quarterback, and they took Aldon Smith.
Yeah, and then they did, and
now they have that same quarterback.
They have this.
Team, so.
Yeah, they
didn't get Blaine Gabbert. They got him. But I don't know. Miles Jack's it's a risk. It definitely is a risk.
No, I agree. It's a risk. But they need a linebacker to be opposite of LeVar Bowman. And it's hard to replace a guy like Patrick Willis. But I think this guy could potentially be that guy. And they always take players who are always who always have like injury problems in college. Mm-hmm. But Frank Gore. It hasn't worked out for them in the past few years. But it has worked out for them. Even before that, at different times. So, yeah.
Okay. So, at number 8, the Cleveland Browns, I have them taking Vernon Hargreaves, cornerback out of Florida, the next best cornerback after Jalen Ramsey. I think that when you're in a division with the Steelers and Antonio Brown, and when Martavis Bryant comes back, Whedon's not at all a bad player. A.J. Green, a guy like Eifert, the Ravens, Steve Smith, you need somebody who can defend the pass, and they've missed on a couple corners in the last few drafts with Justin Gilbert, and I think they really should probably be looking more in the secondary because that defense is not a bad defense. It's had pieces that have definitely been productive. So if they can get a true number one corner opposite Justin Gilbert, they can start working. They have a solid D line
and Joe Hayden. Don't forget about him.
I'm sorry, who did I say?
You said Justin Gilbert.
Well, it's a Justin Gilbert again, but Joe Hayden.
Yeah.
If Justin Gilbert can start to show up, then you're getting somewhere.
Okay, and number 9, Tampa Bay. I got them selecting Ronnie Stanley.
It's funny, I forgot we have the same stuff down, so it's like, yeah, that's who I have them.
Yeah, we agreed on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
My fault.
And I think he's kind of like, to me, I think at this point he's the best player available.
Yeah.
He honestly could easily go in the top 5 also.
Yeah, and he's a versatile offensive lineman too.
Yeah.
He can play more than one spot. He's looking good.
Yeah.
For me, number 10, the New York Giants, Ezekiel Elliott, Ohio State running back. I think that if the Cowboys don't get him, I think this is the most logical spot here at 10. And I think unless the Dolphins trade up, I think he's going to the Giants.
Yeah, I agree.
Big need at the position.
Yeah, and then some people have Cowboys taking Ezekiel at number 4.
Yeah.
And which I can't argue with that. But yeah, I totally agree. Ezekiel is the best running back in this draft. And then
With you there.
yeah, so there's no argument here.
Yeah.
And then so at number 11, the Bears select Leonard Floyd from Georgia, outside linebacker. He's a little bit slimmer guy at 6'6", but he has some athleticism to move.
Mm-hmm. Quite an athletic dude. And an outside linebacker's position, they do need to bulk up on.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, I think it's definitely a solid pick there. He's probably the best available defensive player at the moment for them at that spot. So, I think that's a solid pick.
Yeah.
Number 12, the New Orleans Saints go with Clemson D-end Kevin Dodd. He's a quick guy. He's a good edge rusher. And he's a big guy for his size. He can do some damage off the edge there, and I think the Saints pairing him up with somebody like
Cameron Jordan.
Thank
you. Almost said Jordan Cameron. I already know it.
I almost said Michael Jordan.
Wrong sport, man.
Just kidding.
You got this is a basketball podcast. Come on.
Pairing him up with somebody like that on the other side, when you have two good ends like that, just think about what those teams with no offense other than Adrian Peterson did with the Vikings when they had guys like Jared Allen and both of the what they called the Williams brothers.
Yeah.
And when you have a good D line, get pressure, it makes up for some bad defense.
It makes the secondary a lot better too.
Oh yes.
And they need help bad. Okay, and then number 13, Miami, who we both might think will trade this pick, but there is no trades in this draft because they're not allowed.
Good call.
And yeah, so we got them taking Eli Apple from Ohio State, so that makes it. He's also a cornerback. That makes it 3 Ohio State players in the top 13.
Yeah, which is no surprise to really anybody. Ohio State's going to be heavy in this first round for us, but probably realistically in the first round too. He's got great size. He is very fluid with his movement. He's a good player. He's better at man usually than zone. He's got to work on some of his. He made a lot of contact. A lot of holding on in college. It's not going to fly in the NFL, but he's a good player. I think it's a good pick for Miami there.
Yeah, and if they don't make this pick, I see him dropping. He can possibly drop into the 20s, maybe the second round.
Yeah, there's a lot of hinting at the Eli Apple might fall. So interested to see how that'll go.
So
number 14, as we talked about last episode, Las Vegas Raiders, the Oakland Raiders take Reggie Ragland from Alabama, inside linebacker. I think they have a very dominant D line right now with who arguably might be the best at his position, roughly.
Khalil Mack?
Yeah, I think Khalil Mack.
He thought he was the outside linebacker.
He goes back. He's done both. And he's the only player to ever make first team All Pro at both positions.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are saying picking another defensive line, but I think they need a force there in the middle.
No, yeah, they do. I agree, and I like this pick. They need that middle linebacker presence.
Mm-hmm. They need that presence in the middle to stop the run because they're definitely getting that. They had 5 sacks against the Broncos when they played them last.
Yeah.
And he was responsible for a lot of those. If you can stop the run too and you force on the pass, if you're getting that much pressure, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and then they got some Peyton Manning's not there anymore, but they got some pretty
they got Phillip Rivers still, and they have
Alex Smith. They got some pretty competitive offenses.
Sanchez.
Yay. Okay.
There you go.
All right. And then for 15, Titans is I think they go the safe route. They're going to go with Jack Conklin, offensive tackle out of Michigan.
Michigan State, actually. Yeah.
Is it Michigan State?
Michigan State.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Should be State.
Oh, I'm bad.
It should be State.
Yeah.
But either way, we said both, so if one of us is wrong, one of us is right. He's a big kid, and funny enough, I didn't take any really consideration of any mock draft I saw to these drafts, But I know a lot of different mock drafts I've seen a lot with Conklin.
Yeah, no, they had him at this spot too. So
you need to protect your first round pick from last year. You need to protect your franchise quarterback in Marcus Mariota, and you need to be able to keep him upright because he's the franchise now. You know. That moves us to 16 with the Detroit Lions and Laquan Treadwell out of Ole Miss, wide receiver. We really like this pick.
Yeah.
The first receiver to go. A lot of people are saying the receivers probably weren't going to go in the 20s. I think this fits a good need for them, losing Megatron over the past year now in the offseason. I think it's a good spot for them to possibly go for a receiver there. He's the best one in the draft.
Yeah, and at 17, Atlanta are going to take Shaq Lawson from Clemson, defensive end.
Shaq Lawson is a monster. He's a freak of nature. I think that he'll be great to pair there across from Croy Bierman on the other side. They have a pretty underrated secondary, but they need some more pieces. I think he's a good start to go out, get after the quarterback in a division that has Drew Brees and now Marcus Mariota. I'm sorry, Jameis Winston
and Cam Newton.
Especially Cam Newton. He's a quick guy. He can go get Cam Newton. I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. 18.
The Indianapolis Colts. We get offensive tackle Taylor Decker out of Ohio State, another Ohio State player. He's just, he's one of those guys that come in and can start from day one if you need him to. He's a blue chip kind of guy. He's a huge kid. And with the Colts, their biggest need is offensive line. They've been abysmal for the last few years, and they're trying to build a cohesive offensive line. So I think that pick is just perfect for them.
Yeah, and then honestly, I can also see them going defense with this pick as well. But I also have a Decker.
Good call.
Yeah. And then at 19, Buffalo, I have him taking Will Fuller, receiver from Notre Dame. And what I like about this pick, it gives him a slot guy to pair with Sammy Watkins. And I think he fits with the quarterback they have now, Tyrod Taylor. And he'll be on a offense that has full speed. LaShawn McCoy. So I think they're going to try to outrun everybody.
Yeah. And fast people at all those positions. Charles Clay, Tyrod Taylor, LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, so this is a really good – I think this is a good value pick. Some say this might be a little high for him, but I like it. I like it at this spot.
So it's funny that you say some people might say this is a little high for this because the New York Jets pick, some people said this was a little high for this person at the start of the draft.
Yeah.
Now people are saying that he might not even get to 20. The Jets taking quarterback Paxton Lynch from Memphis, the next best quarterback after our first two picks there. He needs some work. He's not a guy that can start from day one. I think it would be best suited if he went and sat behind somebody. But he's got a lot of intangibles. He's got a lot. There's a rumor that the Saints might take him. Yeah. Trade up. The Niners might. There's a lot of rumors going around.
They could. Niners might take him at 7.
He would fit Chip Kelly's system immediately. Yeah. He's got a lot of intangibles, and it would be really interesting to see if he went sooner than 20.
Yeah, I really like that pick. Because if he doesn't get picked right here, then there's some teams late that can probably go for him. But we'll probably talk about that later in the show. But yeah, I like this pick because don't forget they haven't re-signed Fitzpatrick yet.
No, it's just Geno.
And so,
Bryce Petty.
But if they do decide to, whenever they decide to re-sign Fitzpatrick, I like this pick even better.
Have him sit behind him.
Yeah.
Cut ties with Geno.
Exactly.
Eventually.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Or they can just cut Geno.
Yeah, cut ties. Cut.
All right.
21.
All right. Redskins are. As we previously stated on the show that they worked on their defense with Josh Norman, and they're going to go defense again with Alshon Robinson, defensive tackle of Alabama. And this is a big, big boy.
He's ginormous. Yeah, he's somebody that can fill the front. They just lost Terrence Knighton. He left. They don't have much of a presence in the middle. It's somebody who can, playing for Alabama, he's played the competition, SEC level. He can sit there. He can start from day one. He's a huge presence in the middle of that line for them.
Stop the run. They got Josh Norman stopping the pass. Now they got someone to stop the run. So
absolutely,
if they make this pick, I'll actually be really excited about their defense and see what they can do.
Yep.
Okay.
22 with the Houston Texans. We haven't taken Alabama center back-to-back Bama picks. Ryan Kelly. He's the best center available on the board. He's also a versatile offensive lineman, being able to play, I think, guard, and right tackle.
Yeah.
So very, very, very versatile there for the Houston Texans team that does need some help for the offensive line.
Yep, and they need to block for Osweiler.
Yeah, their new trick pony there.
Yeah. And then at 23, Minnesota Vikings are taking Cody Whitehead, a guard from Kansas State, and I think this is the safest pick at this point.
Yeah, Cody Whitehair, he's a good player. He's a guard. He played good competition there at Kansas State, and he fills a need because they still do have some young pieces on that offensive line they've been drafting, and they need to keep it going cohesive. They need to keep getting younger. They need to make an offensive line that's going to be a good unit for a few years to come.
Yeah,
you know?
I
the best they can for their best player.
Yeah, I like this pick for what they have now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 24.
24 with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to go ahead and get D tackle Robert Nkemdiche.
Oh, okay. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Nkemdiche.
Okay.
The
Because I
N
remember
is silent.
I remember we had trouble saying it. Yeah. Okay.
Out of Ole Miss, I don't like somebody like that kind of player going to the Bengals, the competition. But the guy's a monster. He's got a motor. He's got some character issues, which people are talking about possibly making him drop in the draft here. But I could definitely see him going to the Bengals and helping out immediately.
The Bengals always take guys with character issues, so there's no surprise here.
Vontez, perfect.
He played really well.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
He's a great player.
And
my baby's here.
all right, 25. This is Alex's team.
Oh yeah.
All right, and I think they're gonna take William Jackson III out of Houston. Yeah, I had that written down. Yeah. Quarterback at Houston.
This is a pick I'd be very happy with.
Yeah.
There's a few guys. There's about 4 people in the draft that if they pick any of them, I'll be very happy with them. And William Jackson III is definitely a cornerback I would be very happy to have.
Yeah, and then you said that they had you will think they're going to take Andrew Billings.
Andrew Billings is a great nose tackle. He's a big guy. He's a base 3-4 defense kind of nose tackle. He can take up the double team. It's the kind of guy the Steelers would want. And then there's also a safety out of West Virginia named Carl Joseph that apparently they're very high on too. So any of those 3, I would be up in arms about.
Yeah,
is that a good thing? I'd be very happy.
But I think Jackson is the best pick here because they lost Cortez Allen and they play AJ Green and Steve Smith twice a year. So you need that help.
Same reason we were talking about the Browns going and getting themselves a corner.
Yeah.
Same reason kind of for the Steelers that their defense is the front seven's solid and it's getting even better, but they need a secondary step up a bit. 26 with the Seahawks, the Seattle Seahawks. It's funny, I was looking at that when you abbreviated it Seahawks. They're going to go offensive tackle LaRaven Clark from Texas Tech, another guy who's a little bit of a move around piece. He can play both guard positions, and he's also a tackle by trade. Big dude. Some people talk about him possibly even going before Tunsil.
Yeah.
So
he can definitely go earlier in this draft. He might go before Stanley. You don't know.
Exactly.
But
there you go.
I like this pick because that name just screams Seahawks, like LaRaven Clark. That's just like the Seahawks name.
I think it screams Raven to me.
Maybe. I don't know. Ozzy's not going to take him at 6.
We'll see. If the Ravens take him tomorrow,
maybe.
I'll go crazy.
All right, at 27, and this is
a fun pick for us.
I think this is the best pick of the draft. And
I think this is the last pick.
This and the last pick are like steals. All right, and the Packers are going to take tight end Hunter Harvey from Arkansas.
Hunter Henry.
Oh, Henry.
I would say Hunter Harvey's a huge steal because that guy probably doesn't even know he's going to get drafted. Hunter Henry.
I know someone. Hunter Henry. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, this is this third show. Bear with us.
Right. Great tight end, best tight end in the draft. My reasoning and how I kind of won you over with this pick is he absolutely is a tight end that can stretch the field and just make the rich richer with the Packers.
Oh yeah.
He can come in day one. He's a huge threat receiving. He's also, as opposed to a lot of the last few drafts that have a huge receiving threat tight end, he's also a great blocker.
Yeah.
So I would be ecstatic as a Packer fan to get him, and personally as a guy watching football and just loving football, I would be pumped to see what he would do with the Packers.
Yeah, and then he can definitely start right away with because the 2 guys they have on at tight end, Richards and Andrew Corliss, and
he's a step up from both of them. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, he is. All right, moving on to number 28.
Kansas City Chiefs take a much needed wide receiver in Josh Doxson. They really have one starting, just pure receiver, and that's Macklin. They have a lot of number 2s and 3s there. I think Doxson can give them a legitimate number 2 following Macklin there, with a solid running back when he's healthy, a quarterback that can get the ball to the tight end, and both of those receivers. I think that'll upgrade their offense a lot.
I like this pick because he doesn't have to be the number one wide receiver, and
he doesn't have to come in right away.
Yeah, a lot of scouts saying he's a great number 2 pick, and he'd be a great number 2 guy for Alex Smith and that offense.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, he gets some receiver touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely, maybe double digits. I don't know. Arizona Cardinals at 29 are taking Darren Lee, a linebacker from Ohio State.
Another Ohio State pick.
Yeah, and I think he fits in well with this front seven. And I can also see him take a cornerback as well, because I remember we were arguing.
We were going back and forth.
Yeah, we were going back and forth, and then I kind of somehow won you over with this pick, because the reason why I won you over with this pick is because they play a lot of great running backs in this division.
Yeah, that's exactly what you did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what the conclusion we came down to. Okay, 2 more picks to go.
The corner that we had possibly going to the Cardinals goes to the Panthers at 30, and that's Mackenzie Alexander, Clemson cornerback. Another guy I wouldn't be super upset for the Steelers to draft. He's a good playmaker. He's real fluid. Just has a little bit more of probably producing more his second, third year than his first year, but a guy that could step in, fill the need that they made by letting Norman leave, and hopefully help that defense out a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't really see him going anywhere else besides corner because of Josh Norman, and now he was such a significant player for that defense. Mm-hmm. But whoever he'll be walking to a great situation with a front seven and the best linebacker in the game. Okay, the last and final pick, Jermel. And the Broncos take Derrick Henry, running back out of Alabama. And to me, I think this is a steal pick.
Yeah. That's a guy who can come in day one and be a monster in the backfield for them. A 3-down back that can handle the workload. I think he would be a great pick there.
Yeah, he will help out Mark Sanchez, who's the quarterback, and or possibly Colin Kaepernick.
Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. But I'll tell you right now, whoever is a quarterback for that team, and then they draft Derrick Henry,
they're gonna get a nice piece.
They're gonna get a nice piece, and if he pans out well, they're gonna probably win that division again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can dig that.
Yeah, I'm not going to the Super Bowl, but division.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you liked our mock draft. That we took a lot of time on that, and we hope you agree with some of our picks. If you don't, well, I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
All right, I don't want anyone calling us and say, "Hey, you were wrong," but
because we know we can't get it right. Nobody gets it right.
Yeah, come on. All right, but if we happen to be right, then I think we should.
In all your faces.
I think we should get some money. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm taking your car home if I can.
Okay. All right. Well, we'd like to thank you again for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. Visit us on iTunes for new episodes each week. You can find us at gsmcpodcast.com, as well as on Twitter at gsmc_football, and Facebook at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Alex.
And we will see you next time.
Thank you so much.